Just wanting to yawn a little bit.
Give yourself some time then. Make sure my leg stretches out. Seriously, my right leg still clicks, when I hold it into position too long. No, but when I hold it like this, there's some pressure building up. Then I stretch it out, I hear it click, and I'm like, fuck, am I getting old man knees?
You are listening to Alternating with Eric, episode 29. I am Connor, and of course, I am alternating with Eric.
Yes, and I am Eric here, alternating and speaking with Connor about different subjects based on animes and mangas we've seen before, and maybe even sometimes just kind of sit back and reminisce about the good old days.
Yeah, and Eric is a Russian martial artist.
Sure, let's go with that.
That's your title. And I'm a music engineer person. Something like that.
Sound engineer,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah. If you want to use the technical term. I think a bachelor in sound engineering. If you want to be really technical. But yeah, so Eric, how have you been?
Same old. Basically not much has changed. It's just been working, which has stressed me out here and there. But obviously I'm trying to get through it as much as I can, and hopefully, hopefully just make sure everything's all good. Basically, I've also, taken the time whenever I could to just sit back and enjoy myself and just relax and watch a few things here and there. Unfortunately, that means I haven't actually touched Netflix or looked at much of anime or read too many mangas, which means that I've kind of been stuck looking around at different, weird little things. What I have been looking through, though, is trying to find some good old historical movies to watch, actually. And one of them was based on the fact that I have somehow multiple times listened to a music video based on the Winged Hussars of Poland. So there's a few movies about them, but I'm still trying to find a good one to watch. So that's pretty much been me hunting down a good movie to watch.
Is that the Polish brigade of soldiers that were fighting with England? Because there is a movie on that. If you're looking for a movie on that, how would I describe it? It's Poland basically having their own elite force of horsemen who have who basically just continue on and try and attain do heroic deeds across Europe, especially with one of their biggest victories and one of their biggest participation in terms of history is during the defense of Vienna of 1683. God, I hope I'm getting that number right. I'm supposed to be the historian here as well. So getting this number wrong is a stat for the heart. You're more like political history from Russia and
whatever. Look, if you
probably a bit of New Zealand history, like political New Zealand.
Honestly, any dodgy kind of history you can give me, I will just want to look through it because that's the kind of history I love. But in terms of this one, it's less about the dodgy type of history. The ones where someone's done something bad. This is the epic type of history, especially given that. This was a historical perspective looking at what the Battle of Vienna was like around the time the Winged Hussars arrived, which basically boiled down to there's a horseman, they can see the enemy, let's run him over. And that was basically the most of the time that was the tactic for any sort of elite horse cavalry.
So you're looking
group.
for movies and like books and stuff based on that.
Just the movies, really, because I've seen the music videos, which had bits and pieces of movies that featured the Winged Hussars, and I'm thinking, I really need to see this because especially with these old movies, like the effort put into trying to recreate something from way back, in terms of the Winged Hussars, like 300-400 years ago, is something that really interests me because it's like, how close can you get it, or how much of the truth can you delve through, before it becomes, before you start to realize, whether or not it's fact or fiction, when it comes to, and basically that's what interests me at the moment.
So we're trying out a new setup at the moment. We're actually facing each other like properly. Usually I'm like slightly off. Eric's a little bit slightly off. And Eric is talking in a brand new microphone. So give them a little taste, Eric.
Yeah, this is the new microphone that I have.
Go in close. Give them that nice
yes,
bass
hello. This is the new microphone I currently
come on,
have.
You got to give them that
And
radio
it's
voice, Eric.
Hello, this is Eric, and I'm speaking into the new microphone.
No. You gotta. You're listening to In the Morning. You've gotta sort of get that bass in your voice.
I don't think I can.
See, I'm looking forward to when we get our friend Rickus on the show at some point because he's got like kind of a deep voice. So here, getting him on a mic is gonna be great. But we have I think we announced this on our last show that we were gonna have special guest Cheang on, and he didn't end up coming up on that episode. So he's gonna be on this episode, hopefully. And we're going to have a segment reviewing something of him. Now, for this episode, we are just reviewing an anime. We're just reviewing Freezing. I hope I'm saying that. Yes, I am.
Yes,
because it's, right. Sorry, I have a thing with F's and THs. I sometimes get them mixed up. It's a weird accent thing. But we're going to be reviewing that. And we won't have a manga segment this week, but we might have one next week. And then the week after that, we are taking a little bit of a break, but we'll have some content out for you then. And we might have one other break coming up as well, because I am going down to Invercargill at some point.
Nicely done.
So, we might have to...
I say nicely done, but from all the stories you've told me about Invercargill, I'm not sure if that's the right way of saying things.
That's not a bad place, but basically, I need to go get my I used to live down there, so I need to go get my stuff that's still down there and catch up with some people. And probably the best time to go is going to be a weekend, and we do this on a Saturday. And I can't, really So we won't be doing it that week, and we might not have content that week or whatever week it is. But that might be a while because in New Zealand and trying to find flights and things like that. Air New Zealand is like our flight company here, if you can't tell.
Alongside Virgin Australia, Jetstar.
Well, I think Virgin's like dying basically because of COVID.
That is a bit of a that's saying something, especially since
they laid off a lot of people. I know that.
God. Well, we've been laying off a lot of people as well in the country. We live in Johnsonville, and in Johnsonville we used to have a warehouse, a reasonably small one, but it's also recently shut down. So unfortunately, that's another place to go. It's not exactly independent business. The warehouse, it's quite it is a franchise. But to see one close up that easily is quite worrying.
So for our international listeners, Johnsonville is like a district in Wellington, like a little area. And how far would you say it's away from like the Wellington city?
10, 15 minutes?
Yeah, about 10,
drive.
15, yeah. This is how small Wellington is compared to most countries, where it's like this district is about an hour away from the other,
When I first came to New Zealand in like 2000, 2001, and started living around Wellington, I thought everything was too far away. But now that I have my own car and I have been around plenty, everything just seems so much closer.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant for me.
in every way.
So I'm also like Eric in that I haven't really watched that much anime or read that much manga this week. The most I've done is I'm still watching the controversial Uzaki-chan. I'm going to keep saying that because I keep on hearing more and more people getting like angry about it every day. Like it just seems like it's...
I am actually getting more and more curious about it because it seems to be a different thing every time with Uzaki-chan that we come on. Because is it a same controversial?
Oh, it's just more
subject,
people
or?
that are like complaining about it, or like I'll hear another podcast just bring it up or something. It's it's not as prevalent, but there's still like a little bit of a following for it on Twitter, like about the issue, or it'll be like brought up by someone just randomly, and it's like, God, can we just not do it's like it's been going so long.
Look,
So
Twitter was once invented to allow people to
it's
speak
YouTube
their
as well.
thoughts, and YouTube, to speak their thoughts on any different given occasion.
Yeah.
Which they're doing right now, so well done, Twitter. You did a good job.
So I hope. So I'm a little conscious because we've had some echoing issues. So I hope I'm not echoing at the moment. So I've been watching that, of course. And I watched something on Netflix called Backstreet Girls, which is about three Yakuza guys turned into idol girls. It is really funny.
I wanna watch.
Yeah, it is funny.
Does it have anything to
The
do
animation is kind of like bad. It's kind of like Detroit Metal City, how they didn't really do much with like animation wise of it. And it's just like the same arts. So it kind of doesn't really feel that different from reading the manga other than, people move and stuff. But yeah, it's not as great as I think it could be, but like animation wise. But other than that, like it's pretty decent. It's pretty funny. I laughed at a lot of the jokes.
does it have anything, or do they reference the Backstreet Boys in any way?
I don't think so. I think that's just the name they came up with. But there's lots of great jokes about them being Yakuza and like being in girls' bodies. It's funny. It's a good show. So
It sounds weird, but it sounds like an enjoyable kind of weird.
So I did that. I'm trying to do a bit more reading. And I don't mean like I don't want to say big book reading, but you know what I mean, like paid, books without pictures. But I did just read comics this week, basically.
Picture books?
Yeah, I read Spot the Dog or Dr. Seuss. No, this week I loved Doom Patrol, the TV show, and I hadn't really read much of the Grant Morrison. I had like skimmed through some stuff, and I'd read some of the Arnold Drake stuff, and I don't really like his. It's a bit more campy, and I didn't really like that tone with the Doom Patrol.
When you mean campy, do you mean
Like 60s Batman, no. More like Johnny Quest, if you know who that is. Like
kind of having difficulty getting out of a comfort zone?
No. Like 70s like adventure type thing.
Oh, okay,
Conan,
then.
Cobra, like like that feel. Not like the same scene, but that sort of feel to it. While also trying to be kind of like an X-Men dark sort of thing, which it does a little bit better when Grant Morrison writes it because he can get darker and he can also get a bit more psychological with it and do some weird concepts of it. And it's interesting. Like I read quite a bit this morning, and they're a little bit different in that version to what I've seen in the Doom Patrol TV show, but I like it so far. So I've been reading a bit of that, and I watched a movie. This isn't anime related, but I guess Willem Dafoe is he's played an anime character. He played Ryuk in the Death Note live action, so I guess it's somewhat related. I watched a movie that's been on my list for a long time, but I actually haven't been able to find a good way to watch it. I haven't found a way to watch it streaming or watch it illegally or legally. Finally found one way to watch it. Yes, I did watch it legally. Sorry. I watched a movie called The Lighthouse with Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. I know everybody's like, oh, Mr. Twilight. Now, he's a great actor. You should watch Good Time if you don't think so.
Does he die in this movie?
I'm not gonna say whether he
Okay.
dies or whether he doesn't. I'm not gonna say whether Willem Dafoe dies or doesn't in this movie because that's also so
Willem
it
Dafoe
happens.
better not die. He is a good source of entertainment.
You'd love him in this movie because he's got like a Mr. Krabs type voice because he's meant to be playing like an old shanty type captain. Like he talks kind of like that sort of like he's got that kind of role to him. I'm not kidding. Like that's kind of how he talks. And then Robert Pattinson, I actually had trouble like trying to understand what kind of accent he was going for. Like it's not a bad performance, but it's a really weird like American accent. Like it's supposed to be from Maine or something. It's just what I got from IMDb. But
What is the accent from Maine sound like?
well, to me, I always thought Maine was like that. That sort of folksy sort of thing. I thought that was like that. That's definitely not Maine,
okay.
But I was thinking like southern sort of thing. But this one was like a really weird, like it's meant to be an old school Maine. I'll say this, which is interesting for me. Like I found interesting. If you're really into linguistics and like the way people talked back in the 18th century and time periods like that, and you want a movie that actually sounds like it, and looks like it's made in that era, this movie's perfect because it's not they recorded it in mono, but it's not like the sound quality is bad, and it's not like the picture quality is bad, but it is filmed in black and white. The aspect ratio is more closer to like what you're used to of really old school like 30s movies, and there is sound, obviously. It's not like a silent movie. But everybody, like, talks. Like, the dialogue is, like, most of the time, it's actually, like, a lot of the writing is actually more accurate to, like, the time period. Like, a lot of the slang and stuff used.
Okay.
So it's really happy to see because most movies you watch, everybody just talks like you would in present day. Like, you watch
They kind of gloss over
Yeah.
how they used to interact.
You watch like a 1930s gangster movie, and they won't use like slang from that era because it will like they use a couple words here or there. Like I don't know if I should use these because like most of the ones they sadly use are just racist words like spick and kike and things like that. I feel bad saying those. But like that's the type of words they would use.
Hey, at least we're not reviewing Top Gear. They use quite a few racial slurs.
But
one thing that came up was a slope.
yeah, but we but generally most things won't use like a lot of slang from the era. But this movie did, and it's there's lots of lines like I don't know. I found myself really just liking the script, and it's I would read up on some Greek mythology before you go see it as well because it's kind of a surreal. It's kind of an artsy horror movie a little bit, and the parts of it are like inspired by Greek mythology, like by Prometheus and I can't remember. Is it Neptune or one of the gods of the sea from Greek mythology?
Or Neptune, or
Is that the Greek
Poseidon.
one? Poseidon, yeah.
So Neptune is the Roman,
Yeah.
Poseidon is the Greek.
Okay, see, that's why I have Eric here. So it's got that sort of inspiration to it and that look, and I generally I thought it was great. At first, like I wasn't too sure about it, but the more I watched it, the more I liked it, and it's funny and both intense at the same time. I wouldn't say it's like hugely frightening. Like I didn't find myself like really scared, but I found myself like getting really into it.
I mean, isn't that a good thing?
Yeah. But
okay.
it's sort of marked as a horror movie on some things I've seen, and I wouldn't really like. There's horrific-y sort of imagery, but I wasn't really scared. I was just more curious, like morbidly curious a little bit with some of the stuff going on. But yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. There was one line I keep thinking about after the movie, which there's a big. I don't want to spoil anything, but there was one scene. This isn't a spoiler, where Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe are having this massive argument.
Oh boy!
And they're arguing about food, and Willem Dafoe's like they're going back and forth. And then he like basically says like you'll die, and he says it like in this old sort of shanty way. He's like, "My Neptune's beard, I'm going to take you, and I'm going to plunge you to the ashes of it." And he goes on and on. But before that, like they're getting this big argument, and Willem Dafoe, like the saddest and the funniest way, goes, "You like my lobsters? I know you like my lobsters."
What?
And I just couldn't help but laugh at that line. It was just
What was the context exactly?
because
It was
he's
like-
cooked lobster, sir. But just hearing that and that accent, like, just made me kind of laugh. I
That
kind of
is-
want it on a shirt with his face as well, because the face he makes is like, it's really good acting because he's like clearly like kind of upset, but it's like an old, I don't know, like just the way it's so funny, but at the same time kind of sad.
It sounds really strange
It is.
and just over the.
It's
I
an
guess-
experience. I definitely would say that, but I would highly recommend it. Because
Yeah.
to be honest, like I've went to a couple movies in the theaters the last couple weeks. I've just been really disappointed, if I'm being honest, by like I went and saw Bill and Ted, the new one that came out.
Oh, with Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, and
What was that like?
so my biggest issue with it is I feel like I would have enjoyed it a lot more as a kid, and I also felt like it felt weirdly out of time. Like I know it's supposed to be them, like they're too old to be doing this, but the whole movie felt like everything in it was too old. It's like we're not in the 80s anymore. But I don't know, like I didn't hate it, but I didn't absolutely love it. There were parts that I enjoyed and laughed at, but there were parts where it's like this. It feels really fast. That's the biggest thing I will say. It's like kind of rushes for a lot of things, but it's all right. Like it just rushes through a couple things a little too much. There's just a lot of things going on at the end. That's just a lot, and it was just like, okay, all right,
Because I remember watching the old Bill and Ted. That
they're
was
fun.
that was entertaining,
Yeah.
especially them going to see God. That was like and back in
The most fun is them going and visiting all the old historical figures, or them going and visiting the Grim Reaper.
I think that the Grim
Yeah.
Reaper part was the best one because trying to get yourself
He's back.
out of the Grim Reaper.
Yeah, he's back.
Oh, okay.
They-
What's he like in this one?
Well, he's their bass player, so they need him back, and they've made him like this kind of like selfish bass player who's went solo and he's got all these solo records, and he does like 5-hour bass solos and stuff.
That's weird.
So he's like for music nerds, he's like the Victor Wooten of music. But yeah, so I watched that. It was okay. I just honestly like it's one of those movies where I felt like I didn't need to see it in the theater. Like Tenet, I almost kind of felt like that. There were scenes where I was happy I saw it in the theater, but like I don't know. I want to see Wonder Woman. That's the one I'm looking forward to seeing in the theater.
Wonder Woman 1980 something or 18 something?
Yeah, Wonder Woman 1984. the
That's the one,
sequel.
1984.
I'm looking forward to seeing that in the theater.
Okay.
I have no interest in seeing the new James Bond because I didn't like the last one at all.
What was the last one again?
Spectre?
Spectre.
One with
Oh,
Christoph
yeah,
Waltz.
Yeah, that's the one.
Didn't like it at all. I to be honest, I just think they peaked at Skyfall. I know people won't like me saying that, but I think they peaked at that one. I honestly, like, people are pissed that there's a new, just old people are pissed that there's a female Bond in the movie who's maybe going to be replacing Bond.
Which is a bit weird because we've had spies before who were females.
Well, they don't like the 007 being, replaced. But my biggest thing is, like,
But there's no replacement, though, in terms of what the
Yeah.
number is or who it is. It's just a person.
it's just a person. But
And the 007,
it's a code name. and
It's a
been-
code name.
yeah.
It's always been like
Yeah.
that. So even as a female, should get the code name and the
Yeah.
number of James Bond 007.
I don't mind.
Or I guess in this case, it'll be something like
I don't
Jane
mind them
Bond.
doing like a female one, but I don't really like the actress that much. Who they've cast.
Who did they cast?
It's someone you wouldn't know, but I've seen her in one other show I watched. I think it was called Harikiji or something. It's a Japanese UK co-production. It wasn't like amazing. It was okay. But I watched that and she's in that, and I didn't really like her that much in that. I'm sure she is built for well built for a woman, but I didn't believe it. I guess. And I don't expect them to be sometimes, but I don't know. Like, it just, I didn't really, I'd rather see like a Michelle Yeoh or someone like that, like someone like that. Or I'd rather see like another Atomic Blonde. I really liked that. So
Yeah, I haven't. I really want to watch.
I liked that
looks
movie.
good.
I know a lot of people didn't, but I liked it a lot. So I've got nothing against female leads being in action movies. I honestly would like it.
I think
because-
I think the issue then becomes: has the director actually, is the director actually going to take this seriously, or are they just going to put that female in a role and then just do nothing about it?
I know your
properly?
argument's gonna, because I hear multiple times, why do they have to cast a
Because it all
4
depends-
foot woman beating up a 5 foot muscle bound man? And I'm
Well, I mean, there's not that issue. There's a
I
way
don't
to do
care.
that.
Like I honestly don't care with the because
It's all about what the director does
Yeah.
with it. That's more important.
Well,
than,
also, like,
yeah.
why are men complaining about a hot chick beating up dudes? Like, we like action movies and we like Charlize Theron. Why are we complaining about this?
That is a strange thing to you do, because then,
And then also, you've got like 5,000 other movies with guys in the lead, especially white guys. Like, you don't need another James Bond with just I'd rather see Idris Elba or anybody else, just so it's slightly differently written or something. Because
I think it's good. I think it is good to at least change up roles, and in terms of what the gender is, and that kind of.
Or it's just
scenario.
time to end the books. If honestly, make another franchise. Like, it's not that hard to make a spy movie. There's so many spy books out there that probably aren't adapted. Like, I can think of dozens that probably aren't adapted.
One thing that's interested me, I'm not sure if they have adapted to this or not, but Cherub. Do you remember that, Cherub?
Possibly, it's possible.
So it was a teen book series, playing on the idea of a spy agency which uses kids as agents rather
That's
than adults.
Agent Cody Banks with Freddie Moon.
Or even younger than that, actually. It's like 12, 13-year-olds.
I'm surprised you remember that movie.
I remember that movie, and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
It was boring. But no, the Cherub book series, I've read a few of them, and I saw that they made a comic adaptation of it, and it was an interesting idea to work on that could potentially, that could be just made. I can't remember if they actually made Cherub into a live action.
I don't know. I know
but-
they've made one movie of that Alex Rider book series, and they also made a TV show of that as well.
Oh, Alex Rider. I was thinking something else.
Yeah,
I've
no,
actually seen
Alex Rider. But I know those were like spy espionage type. I think I saw the movie,
Yeah,
and
Alex
it wasn't
Rider.
very good. But
Ooh, that's
you
bad.
know,
Alex Rider was decent. It had it at least had a great plot, which basically developed in and of itself, kind of opening up the world to much wider, what is it, underground, overground secrets and how the world worked. And I really enjoyed Alex Rider to an extent. Although my favorite book out of that series would be the one titled Scorpio.
yeah. See, I didn't read them. I saw the one movie. It's kind of like Aragon, those books. I never read those, but I saw the movie, and everybody told me the movie was shit. And then I saw the movie, and I was like, oh, it was mediocre.
The first movie was just cut out so much from the first book. Just so
Go
pretty
see
much everything.
go see Narnia, man. Like they cut the whole first book with that.
I haven't read
Most
the book,
people,
but
I read them as kids. So.
I actually enjoyed the movie because I thought it was done well.
Yeah.
At least the visuals, the rolling beautiful hills.
Yeah, they did a
scenery and all
TV
that.
show that I liked a little bit more. That was done in Britain, like years ago, in like the 90s, I think. And I watched it on DVD. It was a good one. But yeah, we're gonna be back after the break, and when we get back, we'll be with a special guest, Cheang, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
See ya.
The masters of action-packed fan service have a new leading lady. Her name is Satellizer L. Bridget, and she's as deadly as she is desirable. When the new boy at school dares to make a connection with this untouchable queen, Satellizer finds herself besieged by a bevy of busty beauties that are aching to beat her into submission. Especially the mysterious blue-haired warrior maiden who wants both Satellizer and her man. Welcome to West Genetics Academy. The dress code is about to be violated. Freezing.
All right, we are back from the break, and we have special guest Cheang finally on the podcast. Say hi, Cheang.
Hello.
So,
Hello, people.
Cheang has picked. Yeah, they can't physically see you. We're doing this audio, Cheang. Yes, I should have mentioned that too. Cheang is doing a lot of physical stuff at the moment. He's like doing backflips and all sorts of stuff, but you can't see it because, you know, we're audio.
Technically, I'm not. I think you're making that up, Connor. As you go.
So,
I think you're making that up as well, Connor.
yeah, Eric's doing a handstand and, like, you know.
Yeah, I wish I can do a handstand.
We're actually not recording this in a
I
room.
wish
We're
I was
recording this
strong
in
enough to do a
sauna, but you can't
handstand.
see that.
Let's put it that way.
How? Oh, that is just so weird.
All right, so to get on the topic.
Don't even go there, Eric. I know what you're going to say. Don't even go there.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so to get on the topic,
Go there.
we are reviewing an anime that Cheang picked for us. We were supposed to review a manga with Cheang, but that went horribly wrong. The file's corrupted now, so we can't really use it. Some of Cheang's audio is still working, so I'm going to make a dubstep remix with it.
I know you said no dubstep remix.
I will make it, and Eric's going to be in it too, so don't worry about it.
said on like Tuesday
Yeah.
this week, no dubstep remix.
All right, well, anyways, we were supposed
You
to
can
review
do
some...
what you like with the audio, but just no dubstep remix.
But anyways,
I'll take anything else apart from the dubstep
Back on
remix.
topic, Cheang.
we
Okay,
were
sorry.
supposed to review a Korean romance manga called Cheese in the Trap. Was that what it's called, Cheang?
Cheese in the trap.
Yeah. So we were going to review that, but that ended up working. So we're reviewing a show that Cheang first told me is Freeze. Freeze. But it's actually called Freezing, or I think it's like Freezungu or something like that in Japanese.
Actually, I've never heard any of the Japanese people pronounce the manga title, so I can't actually comment on that.
Yeah. So we're reviewing the show, and I've got a lot of thoughts on it. Eric's probably got some thoughts on it, but Cheang, since you picked the
I have
show,
a lot of thoughts on it.
but Cheang, since you picked the show,
I can agree with you on some of the synthesis you kind of have in your head.
before we get into it, Cheang, can you tell us the plot of Freezing?
Sorry. Go on.
Basically, freezing is like it's like an R18 / alternate universe fighting.
Okay. Well, I need to show you
Alien,
some R18 anime
multiverse
because I would not count this as R18.
Yeah, it's like a battle for survival type of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it is made by a manga artist who's
This is a Korean team, by the way. We should mention this is we picked another because this is
Yeah,
Korean
because
artist
it's,
and Korean
originally
illustrator?
illustrated by a Korean.
Yeah. Do you know their names, Cheang? Do you know? I can't pronounce them.
I haven't heard of them actually. They're pretty recent, but I can't pronounce it.
they're not. Oh, they wouldn't be that recent. They've had quite a few titles before Freezing, and Well, unfortunately, those stopped a little early.
Yes. There were some rumors that they're going to make another Bleach slash like Respin novel kind of thing, but
You sure they're not just
got
making porn or
cancelled at the
something?
last
Because the
minute
way
as
the
well.
art looks, it's just
yeah, the art style
art-
of I think it's
the art,
Chang,
I
correct me if I'm wrong.
really
The author was,
enjoy.
oh, I almost forgot the author's name. It's Lim Dai Young, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think the author's name is Lim Dai Young. I've read quite a few of their stuff, and their art style is quite decent. There's a lot of detail
Yeah,
there.
I prefer the Korean art style to the Japanese. It's kind of more sharp, more refined.
And there's a better use of shading as well in some cases.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Especially for
If we get Eric on this podcast, he could actually give us like a description of the images, how it's used, stuff like that.
Sorry, let me grab my
I
phone. Let me just have a look.
Yeah, so because I'm probably gonna shit on the show, I'm gonna let Eric and Cheang get into what they liked about the show because I have a lot of things they didn't. So
Oh, come on! Oh,
let all
how
your
could
good
you
stuff
not?
out, and I'm gonna shit on it right afterwards.
Well, I guess my
Go ahead, Eric.
The manga that I've seen, Freezing is the first manga that I've seen that was written by. Yep, I got the name almost right. It's Lim Dal Young, not Dai Young. So that was
Lim Da Young.
Yeah, and the
Lim Dal
illustration
Young.
is by Kim Kwang Hyun.
Kim Kwang Hyun.
Freezing is the first thing I've seen of their works, and then following on, I've seen other stuff. In terms of the art style of Freezing, it was really good, and I liked it. There's a lot of detail to it, and as Cheang mentioned, there's a lot of sharpness to it as well. So it was really nice, and yeah, those I think they did pretty well with frequent use of what is it? Physical indicators of how a person feels, like blushing and all that. Which I thought was really great. But
No cons yet. Stick with all your pros first.
Okay, all my pros.
Because I got a lot.
Because they've got and I think Cheang will agree with me on this. They've had some decent ideas for some of their mangas. Although they don't really follow a straight plot, it seems to be like, here's one plot. Oh, but it's following on from another plot. I was like, wait, where did that plot come from?
Yeah,
It came
but
from this plot.
But
yeah,
the Korean authors in this day and age more have like a style unique in storytelling. Like they don't stick to like one specific aspect of that story. They split up into like chapters, themes, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, what were some things you liked about it, Cheang? What gravitated you to?
I liked how crisp the drawings were. Like, not everything. Like, not.
Did you two watch the anime, or am I the only one who watched the anime here?
We watched both.
I watched the anime and the manga.
Okay, I didn't read any of the manga. I just watched the anime.
I did a manga in one night.
Okay.
Manga in the whole.
That's close to 200 chapters. You managed to finish 200 chapters. In one
I
night.
believe it. I believe it, knowing Cheang.
I read very fast.
Okay,
that's
so
impressive.
Cheang, tell us what were some of the
fast.
positive things you liked.
I like the costumes, but it seemed if I had one negative, it was a little bit on the just pushing the uniform just a little bit out of touch, if I say.
So you mean
Just a little.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's
Just a
something
little.
agreeable. In fact, it's
Yeah,
agreeable.
it's like pushing. It's like almost pushing the R18 limit, like just hitting the R18 limit.
Well, the same can be said for pretty much all of this type of clothing that they wear, because we do see not only battle uniforms, school uniforms.
Dude, you
we
see full fucking nudity in the first episode. Full nips and veg in the full fucking episode.
You kind of get used to the style with this also.
Yeah. I got used to it in like the first two and a half episodes. Yeah.
I think if you get past that and see if you get interested in the idea that the authors portray, then you might almost overlook all that nudity. Almost.
All right.
Yeah, I love the battle sequences as well. It's really well done.
Okay.
The battle sequences were really well done in this anime.
I think the best thing about these battle sequences is the fact that they have, they're not afraid to show quite a bit of blood here and there, and just making a person literally look like they got themselves into a meat grinder and then came out looking.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with Eric on that point. That I love the first battle scene. It was quite a good one.
I have a negative.
Yeah, I have a big negative of that one.
Oh, come on!
But
how can you not? Like
I have a list of negatives, and I'll get into it when I get into it.
I'll get into the one big negative of that battle scene as well.
We'll get into it when we get into it. So keep positive. I'll say my small list of positives. So I think the resolution and the picture quality looks good.
People with expectations.
Yeah. So the picture.
And my expectation is about medium to high.
Yeah. So I went in with this with kind of a low expectation, and it was kind of went up to mid at most, I'd say. So yeah, I thought the lighting, some of that stuff was good. I didn't notice any sound issues in the background noise. There is a sound issue I'll talk about later on.
I think you're meaning like halfway. I think
I'll talk about it when I talk about it. I'll talk about it when I talk about it.
I think you're meaning halfway through episode 2.
No.
There was a sound issue.
Not that issue. And I thought I watched this in both the dub and the sub, and I thought both were fine. The acting was not too bad in either one. So, yeah.
I've only watched the sub, but I do remember watching the dub a long time ago.
I enjoy the sub more. I enjoyed the sub a lot.
It was weird hearing people say satellizer in both languages. I've got to say that now.
Satellizer.
Yeah. Even in dub, that sounds weird. People saying, "Oh, it's satellizer."
Oh, that's Americans.
Yeah. So, Cheang, what's your cons? What's some things you didn't like?
I just didn't like the whole they dragged a little bit of the battle scenes too far sometimes. They just dragged it a little bit too far for me.
Yeah.
Keep it short, keep it refined, keep it good.
All right. Eric, what are your cons?
Oh, my cons would have to be almost the same as with Cheang's ones, but I think in terms of in terms of the battles, sometimes they don't really make too much sense, or they do actually drag out a bit. But I'll give my one big con to the very first battle we have in this series, and that is the Pandora suit. So
how can you not like the Pandora suit?
Okay, but Cheang, just it looks fantastic. It is an overpowered piece of equipment that these individuals can carry and to battle against their enemies. But just tell me, Cheang, after that, when do we see these Pandora suits again?
You see it in episode 9.
No. When do we actually see them used again? These Pandora suits, like these full-bodied, armored, almost skin-tight suits used for battle. When do we see them again? Because I can't remember them being seen anywhere after the first few chapters and the first episode. And after that, there's new concepts, new designs, new other things. and the Pandora suits almost never come up again. This is almost this almost made me feel like they were taking the route of the Call of Duty series, where they introduce a special feature that
DLC.
Yeah, pretty much that's used, and then throughout the rest of the story, it never comes up again. It just gets thrown into a corner and forgotten about. So that's one of my downsides to the first battle scene. They introduce what looks like an epic feature to what these individuals fight with, to what these girls fight with, and then it's like it's gone. Like,
All right.
But you have to. The upside of that, the suit looked awesome.
Yeah, okay, this is
Okay.
awesome.
I remembered 2 pros, and then I'm gonna get into my big list of cons. So,
Yeah, of course.
just for Cheang, I'm gonna see if I can remember my 2 big
Please
cons.
tell
So,
me it's not. Please tell me one of those negatives is not about the costume.
we'll get into that. We'll get into that. It's to do with the clothing. We'll
I
get
have
into
a
that.
good feeling.
We'll get into that. So,
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
the 2 big cons that I remember just from hearing Eric talk, I did like the weapons variety. I did like that everybody didn't just have katanas like a lot of these shows would do. They just have katanas or spears.
That's why I put something more to that side.
I liked
of
that there was
style.
lots of different types of weapons. I actually liked the ending, like it was fun. It was a fun little club dance track. Now, here's a con, and I noticed this as a sound engineer. I skipped the opening. Did you guys like the opening?
I can't remember the opening.
Cheang?
Yeah, I like the opening.
I don't like the opening because there is a sound issue in whoever mixed it. Like, there's a clear issue with the volume to music to vocal mix, like in the first half of the song. In the second half of the song, it's fine. But for some reason, in the first half, it's like couldn't figure out like how loud they needed the vocals in the mix to be versus how loud they needed the music to be. So that's one little minor, sound engineer gripe I noticed. But there were no other sound issues I noticed. Maybe that one you're talking about in episode 2. I didn't actually notice that, so I'm surprised you did. But my issue with the clothing that Chug was so worried about. So I think the clothing is fine, no problems. My problem was, though, I didn't really care enough about the characters or have like enough of sort of a personality to really go like, oh, that's that girl, that's that person. The only thing I could tell them apart was with their hair colors. Like, oh, that's the blonde girl.
I think
that's the girl with the pigtails that's got like the red hair.
I
think that's one of the things about this author as well, is that
I'll say the main character looks different at least.
I think it does. I think it does sometimes take time for the author to actually develop these characters. And
the author tried, from what I have in my notes, the author tried to make them stand out from one another.
I'll say their faces are at least different. Like, it doesn't have the issue that One Piece does, where most of the female characters all have like the same face almost. But the fight scene, I'm surprised Eric did not bring this up. In the first fight scene, it is shot really shakily in a couple places. It's almost a little bit blurry. The fights are really.
I wanted to bring that up, but I felt like it's a neutral thing.
I'm surprised you didn't bring it up because I found it kind of annoying.
I thought it could have been done a little bit better.
I feel like if they slowed them down just a bit,
it didn't really bother me that much.
I feel like if you slowed them down just a little bit in the first one, you could make out a little bit what's going. Because what they'll do is they speed it up, and then they'll show you the impact shot, and then they'll just speed it up again, and it's like Man of Steel, buddy, Superman. Like, it's a little too fast. And then my other problem, the clothing issue that I wanted to bring up is the big elephant in the room, the fan service, the panty shots. So I've watched the show I would compare this to is Eiki-Tosen, which is also a fighting show that in its second season has weapons.
Even I watched that and I disagree.
Wait, listen.
I would not.
Wait, no, hear me out.
I would disagree with
Hear me out. Because both of these shows are about girls fighting in school uniforms with clothes ripping. You can both agree with me that Eiki-Tosin and that show are similar, at least that way. They're both about schoolgirls fighting in clothes that rip.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. With Eiki-Tosin, that's intentional. With freezing, not so much.
It is intentional.
Yeah, but
There isn't,
look
not
at it.
really.
No, because Eric.
But look at it this way. I can see where Connor's coming from, but in the long term of the series, I would have to disagree with Connor.
Because my point
I
here
can see where you're coming from, but I would disagree.
But the point I wanted to make, at the first fight, and this pissed me off, because this happens in some shows I've watched, there was a panty shot interrupting like almost every good part of the fight. Like there's going to be a punch, and then someone gets kicked, and I don't get to see the impact. I see the panty first, and then the impact. And then there's a punch, and then I see the panty before I see the punch.
Are you sure you're not paying attention to
No,
something
it was
different?
hard to not pay attention to because it was on my face every 5 fucking seconds.
Are you sure you're not pointing in the right direction?
No, Charles.
Yeah, we're starting to think you were looking somewhere else.
It's kind of hard not to notice when it's like right on the screen as a shot in between the kick, in between the punch, in between the thing. Like, I just couldn't help but bloody be distracted. Like, I was like, what the fuck? Why are you pitting this here? I'm trying to pay attention to the fight.
Again,
even with the dudes, it felt like that was it.
Are you sure you're referring to the right anime?
We're getting a little bit worried here, Connor.
Fucking hell, you two are too desensitized to fucking notice like the fucking biggest. Because Eiki-Tosin, the reason I make this comparison, Eiki-Tosin, it happens like but it's not a shot. It just happens to be that the girl's clothes ripped or something like that, or she's got a sleeve ripped off or something like that, or something's exposed. But they're still fighting.
Come on, Connor.
It's not a separate shot within the fight that just takes out from the fight. That's my big issue.
But Eiki-Tosin didn't go like full bloody warfare on the fighting field.
No, I mean...
No, they do. They have spears and shit
go
in
like full
the second
battle
season.
cry fighting.
And they have actual martial arts and fights and stuff. There's actual fights. It's just they happen to rip clothes occasionally.
It didn't like drag to this extent. This extent I like. But Eiki-Tosin just didn't get up to that level.
Wait,
know?
Are you talking about the blood or are you talking about the powers? What are you talking about here?
The blood.
Okay. I'm not just, there's a little
On the
bit, but I'll
level,
agree with you on
yes.
that. I just mean in terms of the action in the fights, I just think the pacing is better in Eiki-Tosin with the fights because there's not a shot interrupting a punch or a kick every 5 minutes. It just happens to be in the shot. If someone's like, there's a shot in Eiki-Tosin where someone's going for like you would know what this is called. It's like a leg choke or something where they're grabbing the leg and they're going to snap it.
Yeah.
Now, when she grabs the shot, you happen to see the skirt lift up. And, if the legs are exposed, you're exposed. Fine, like that's in the shot. In this one, like if they were going to do that, like they'd do the leg going up, they'd have him doing the leg first, and then instead of showing like the snap, it would show the panty first and then the snap, and then the rest of the fight would continue as is. That's my problem. There's like a shot in between every single like motion in between the fight. And I just felt the pacing of the fight was like distracted, I felt like it kind of ruined like the pacing of I think actually it being fast might have worked better if you took out some of those shots.
I still enjoyed it.
This was my big issue.
I kind of agree, but it's still relatively...
So comparing it to Eiki-Tosin, that's just...
I actually, watching this, I actually enjoy Eiki-Tosin more now. It's a bad show, but there's actually good martial arts in it. Like, I like the fights a little bit more pacing-wise.
Okay.
I'll agree there's more blood, and I won't disagree with you two on that argument. I noticed more blood. There's an arm rip, like an arm decapitation in this show. So I'll agree with you on that. That was never in any Eiki-Tosin stuff I saw. I just thought the pacing was a little bit better in that show. But that's my only major gripe.
Well, I guess in terms of pacing, we'd have to kind of agree with Connor on this one, Cheang, because the pacing
pacing was a little bit underdone.
But this is the consistent thing between the authors. The plot points do take a bit of time to unravel
Develop.
or meet some kind of conclusion.
It took I think it was the first 10 chapters that it started like developing more.
Yeah, something like
to,
that.
Before 10, before 10, it didn't really do much.
Yeah, it was weird. I think one of the arcs took a good 40 chapters. You know, for
All
a
right,
series
guys, I already
that's
saw the
quite
first
long.
3 episodes. Spoilers.
We're not spoiling anything, but
All
I
right.
am going to make a comparison to this.
No spoilers.
Yeah, that's fine. But one of the arcs did take at least like 40, 50, maybe even 60 chapters. This length of these length of chapters for an arc sounds more like something out of a big shonen series,
Bleach.
like Fairy Tail or One Piece.
Fairy
Right.
Tail, Bleach, One Piece.
Yeah,
You can
So-
go ahead and name them.
yeah. For something that's not up there just about, in terms of being a big thing. Some of their arcs do take a long time to actually resolve themselves.
I remember Bleach took like, what, 20, 25 episodes just to resolve one issue? Something
Yeah.
like that.
There
Chang, have you seen a show called One Piece where some of their fights are bloody, or Dragon Ball Z?
Oh my god, don't start me on One Piece.
No,
my
that's too
god.
Easy. That's too easy.
Do I need to remind you of, I'm going to do a spirit bomb.
Like
Can you wait here a couple minutes
that
while I
took
do my
well
spirit
over
bomb?
40 episodes. Well over 40 episodes to just resolve one issue.
Okay, what's everybody's final thoughts? Are we,
I would still keep looking at it. Like,
would you recommend this?
to a unique
Well-
group of audiences?
I would watch this again, but if they remade it with a little bit more pace, yes, it would be perfect. It would be a perfect. Probably, I would give it near an 8,
Yeah.
but it could push to a 10. It could push 10 if the pacing was a little bit better.
I'm
You
gonna
can
give
agree
this
with
a
me
s-
on the pacing.
I'm
the
going to give this a
pacing?
6.
And the battle scenes could have been done a little bit more refined,
Yeah.
but apart from that, I'll give it like near an 8.
So I'm going to give this a 6, and I might check the manga out, and that's about it for me.
Yeah, I'd give it an 8, because I agree with some things Chunk said, and it's made me understand the manga more just looking at the author's other works. So I can see that there are some things they used in their previous works to improve on in Freezing, but some things they kept, maybe because it's their style, maybe because they feel that this shouldn't be removed. But I think with what the authors are doing with Freezing, they are improving on some things over others. So I'd give it that much of a score.
Okay, cool. All right. This has been Alternating with Eric, episode 29. I want to thank our guest Cheang for coming on.
Okay. Thanks for having me on. Bye, guys.
See ya,
Hopefully, I'll be back soon.
and catch you guys next week.
Bye.